Writing Sports League, and I am unmuted, folks. It is pure pandemonium today here in Clash of the Pencil Stadium. My name is Tom Sherman. I'm joined, as always, Greg the Reader Peterson, who's also a good listener, believe it or not. So we're here to analyze the plot, character, and setting of the top three stories of the day that have been submitted from authors across the internet. And then, basically we read a prompt at the end of the live stream. People submit, and then we pick the public at large picks their favorite as the winner, and then we queue up a new prompt and do it all over again. So, what does it take to get into the finals? Here are the keys to victory in what is known as the radar chart of doom. There are three elements that triangulate to create a story: the characters, the setting, and the plot. So, the larger of a storm cloud you can create on this radar chart of doom, the better, because you really want a scary story that can just shipwreck everything, right?
Torture in that metaphor. But yeah, you only have one
Oh,
page. You only have one page. How can you get character, plot, and setting fully realized and have a satisfying beginning, middle, and end? And there's our producer. What is up, Lid the Kid? She's muted you. She's muted you. She's up to her tricks.
the
And
kid in the production booth, as always, keeping us on our toes. That's what we like to see. Our authors also keeping us on our toes today for today's prompt, which was use these five words in your story: tunnel, robot, sparkle, backpack, and snacks. So, Greg, with these five words, if you were an author, I know your nickname is the Reader, and that's your wheelhouse, but pretend you're an author. Where are you going with those five words?
well, the backpack and the snacks, they kind of rhyme. You're going on a journey, maybe through a tunnel. I bet we'll have some sort of sparkling situation involving a robot. Kind of writes itself.
It sure does. I think that is a top story. Unfortunately, not one of our top three for the day. We will check those out right now. Starting with the first story of the day, titled "Car Star," and this is from Bailiff 10.
Zoom! There I was flying over this ginormous cliff. Oh, wait, I should tell you who I am first. I'm Trey, and I'm not just any car. I'm literally the coolest car ever because I can fly. And guess what? I live in Arizona where it's like 1,000,000,000 degrees. But that's not even the best part. I'm a totally free car, which means nobody owns me. My best friend Steve built me, and he's got this amazing workshop that's actually built into this secret tunnel under a mountain. Every single day, I zoom over there and he fixes me up with all these sparkly parts that make me go super fast. Like faster than any race car in Forza Horizon 5. OMG, that reminds me of this one time I was playing that game and I crashed into a tree. So anyway, Steve has this robot helper in his shop that carries around a backpack full of tools and snacks. Because fixing cars makes you hungry, duh. I'm one of Steve's 5 cars, but between you and me, I'm totally his favorite. That's right, I said it. But then, dramatic pause. You won't believe what happened next. I landed on the other side of this absolutely massive cliff, and there was Steve talking to this guy who was like mega buff. We're talking Hulk Hogan level massive. Steve's face went so white he looked like a ghost. I flew closer and they were arguing about me. This mega buff dude named Percy was all like, "Sell me the car." And Steve was like, "No way." And Percy was being super sus about the whole thing. Then Percy was all, "That flying car is basically trash." Excuse me? But then Percy pulled out this green paper, probably had like $1 gazillion on it. And just like that, kapow, my whole life changed. The next 3 years were literally the worst. Percy was a super toxic driver. He'd get all rage quit on me if we were running late anywhere. But plot twist. One day I decided to go full savage mode and escape. And right as I was leaving, no cap, I saw Steve rolling up with the same green paper. It was like the most epic comeback story ever. And now I'm back flying off cliffs with my boy Steve. Let's go.
All right. The coolest car you've ever met is the narrator on this one. Um, so it's interesting. All right, this car believes it's free. Turns out it's actually not a free car at all, completely owned by a guy named Steve. And then as it's flying around one day, finds out Steve is selling it to a guy named Percy, who is completely toxic. And that's basically it. And then the car runs away. The car runs away.
Yeah.
And goes back to Steve. Goes back
Goes
to
back to
Steve.
Steve. There's a reunification
Goes
at
back
the
to
end.
Steve.
That felt good. That felt good with the plot. That was solid plot. The storms are brewing in that plot cloud part of it. This this narrating voice had a real hard time staying on the road, if you know what I mean. It was all over the place in a wonderful way. We have it trying to keep the plot going, but there's always these parenthetical things. Fixing cars makes you hungry. We get the parenthetical about the Forza Horizon 5. Is that a video game? Not sure. There was so much slang in here. I couldn't keep up. It was like that poor narrator was trying to do brain rot slang and it just didn't quite work, but it was suffused with let's goes, with no cap. And then we also broke, Tom. Are you ready for this one? We broke, I think, the record for the most amount of exclamation points in a story. 19.
Wow.
19 in a one-page
Wow.
story.
Wow, that is a lot of exclamations in a single story. Yeah, not my cup of tea, personally, but hey, who am I to say? I thought it was I guess you know what? This is why it's not my cup of tea is actually because it is a very good story and because I am so invested in the characters that I'm like why is that car going to go back to Steve? Steve sold that car. Sold it for
Ooh,
nothing to some jerk named Percy to just ride around and be mad at you whenever you're late, and then you're going to go back to Steve when Steve had already gaslit you into thinking that you were free when you were actually Steve's car the whole time. Like, girl, and he had five other cars, and you're like, oh, I'm his favorite. Like, girl, you need to cut Steve out of your life. You need to cut Percy out of life. You need to focus on yourself. Like focus
Wow.
on yourself for a bit.
That's it, cars. Free cars out there. That is the advice. The mechanic has spoken. That's what we
All
should.
right, so wild story, wild start to the we do love the reverse Mad Libs around here because it's just so free. So free.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Like in the next story called Capri Done 4. Why not? I haven't seen the first first three Capri Duns, but this one's probably worth the quadrilogy. This one's by Acorn Squash, #1.
The morning started with me triple checking my backpack, making sure we had everything for our adventure. Emma had insisted we bring her special supplies, though she wouldn't tell us what they were. Mom always said I was too curious for my own good, but this time my friends were just as eager to discover what Emma was hiding. Deep in the tunnel, Emma finally revealed her secret, a grocery bag-sized container of glitter. To mark our path, she announced proudly, while Jason rolled his eyes but couldn't hide his grin. The beam of our flashlights caught the trail behind us, transforming our eerie surroundings into something magical. The glitter caught every bit of light, making it sparkle like 1,000 tiny stars had fallen around our feet. We kept walking deeper, taking photos and trying to guess how far we'd gone. The darkness ahead seemed endless, but at least we knew we could follow our trail back. Halfway through our expedition, we pulled out the snacks, sharing Go-Gurt packets and trading Capri Suns like we were still in elementary school. That's when everything changed. A mechanical whirring echoed through the darkness, growing louder with each second. A 10-foot-tall stray robot approached and yelled, "You don't belong here!" It then picked up our friend Hazel and threw her into the wall, instantly crushing her. We screamed and decided to book it, running back along our glitter trail, tears mixing with sweat, until we finally escaped.
All right, so here we have a trio with a backpack full of supplies, going to a mysterious tunnel, where they drop a trail of glitter so that they can find their way back. It sparkles. They go deeper and deeper, pull out some snacks, including Capri Suns, and then a 10-foot tall stray robot comes and kills one of the friends. And then everyone decides to run away and finding, the trail of glitter, getting out of there. And now I'm realizing that it's not Capri done number 4. It's a pun. Capri done for.
Done for. Capri done for. If only they had leveraged that sharp straw as a stabbing instrument, Tom.
So close.
So close. This felt to me like some sort of Brothers Grimm Hansel and Gretel combined with an Edgar Allan Poe entombment story in a tunnel. I felt like the beginning there was so much lead up about getting all the words in, and we kind of got this nice little adventure story, that the middle and the end were like 2 lines long. It's almost like the classic case of an author running out of room at the end of the page. When the mechanical robot, the sounds word, and then the robot says, "You don't belong here," that is something I want a lot more detail on. Like, why don't they belong here? What's up with this tunnel? What's the robot's end game? Why are they chasing him out? Why did it crush Hazel? Capri done for. The random bits of violence didn't feel fully realized. It sounds like they were sad, but I think the character development didn't allow for enough mourning, if that's such a dramatic moment. But it really felt like it was abrupt, the ending.
Yeah, I agree. It is that sort of classic case of running out of a room a bit. Although what I did like that the author did was they paced the words of the Mad Libs well and made each paragraph about a specific word. The first paragraph is about the backpack, second paragraph about the tunnel, third about the sparkling of the glitter, the fourth about the snacks, and then the fifth about the robot. So it was an interesting way to sort of pace out their Mad Libs as compared to some of the other stories where last story, Steve has his robot helper that carries around a backpack full of tools and snacks. You know what I mean? It crams 3 words into one sentence to get them all out of the way.
Right.
So this was an interesting way to kind of reverse that sort of pattern. So
But by the way, carrying your tools next to your snacks, like, they're gonna get like kind of greasy or something?
OSHA has a couple things to say about that. Trust me. I know a thing or two about OSHA, and they don't like me. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Where is story number 3, which is called "Take That, Robert Rolligan," and this is from Fox Fantastic 45.
Stephen trudged down the dark school tunnel to his homeroom, dreading another day since Robert Rolligan transferred. Robert wasn't like other kids. He'd been expelled from 4 schools for bullying, and just hearing his name made Stephen's stomach twist. Being known as the school nerd made Stephen an obvious target. Each morning, Stephen checked his backpack, making sure to hide anything valuable like his graphing calculator that Robert might want to steal. Rumours swirled that Robert punched a kid so hard he broke his arm at his last school. Stephen wanted to believe they were just stories, but Robert's menacing smile suggested otherwise. The fluorescent lights seemed to sparkle off Robert's metal braces as he cornered Stephen after class. "Hey, nerd, want to do my math homework?" Robert growled. Stephen knew this wasn't really a question, so he whispered yes, while staring at his shoes. That evening, Stephen sat at his desk doing both sets of work, his own and his bullies. The next morning, Stephen slipped Robert the homework while sharing snacks with his friend Tommy, hoping to make the exchange look casual. But Mrs. Green was watching from her classroom doorway and completely misread the situation. She thought she'd caught Stephen forcing Robert to do his homework. "I'm calling the principal here after class, Stephen. I'm very disappointed in you." Robert smirked. When the principal arrived after class, the robot monitoring system Stephen had programmed for the science fair sat on the back wall of Mrs. Green's classroom, quietly recording interactions throughout the school hallways, word to life as tears streamed down his face. "I promise I wasn't cheating. My anti-bullying robot caught everything," Stephen explained. Principal Reschner played back the footage from Stephen's AI detection program, which had been analysing aggressive behaviour patterns all semester, spiking when Robert Rolligan transferred in. The system had flagged every one of Robert's intimidation tactics, complete with timestamps and threat level assessments. Robert got suspended, and Stephen's anti-bullying robot went on to be implemented in schools across the district. The end.
All right. Wow. Here we have Stephen bullied by the new kid in school, Robert Rolligan. And so he would steal things from him. He would, it was bad. It was bad. And so then he's bullying him, making him do his homework, and then he gets caught cheating with Robert, but he takes the blame. That's the worst part, right? You're getting bullied into doing homework, and then all of a sudden you get caught cheating. You're like, no, I did that. He didn't do that. I did that homework. So anyways, he says, take a look at my science fair project. I made a surveillance state for the school to completely monitor everybody's actions and flag their behavioral patterns over the past semester without their consent, and it'll prove that I'm right, and it does. So what do? We say, good work, kid, and give him a science fair, suspend and expel the other kid who was acting out for who cares? Who cares why? Right? And yeah, is that close to?
I think that's it. I think you nailed it. And my question to you, Tom, is this a kind of entrapment? Is Robert Rolligan really the victim here? Or because if Steven knows that he's got this ace in the hole the whole time, that's sitting passively monitoring all this, isn't he kind of waiting to get bullied a little bit?
There we go. Yeah, that's definitely some entrapment that yeah would impress a few agencies.
Having said that, I think this is a fantastic story. The character development pulled at your heartstrings to invest in Steven's plight. You wanted to see him like reverse this classic school bully situation. We also get the dumb the uninformed teacher who's looking at this and totally misreading the social dynamics of the situation. Like she didn't know that there was a student dropped into her class that had been expelled from the previous 4 schools, and she hasn't picked up on that. And yet she blames little old Steven for this.
Yeah. That is great. That's like the kid who's never caused a problem and
Right.
is like an A student or whatever. It's like, oh, you've been cheating this whole time?
Yeah, you're doing
off this
new
delinquent?
kid?
Go to the principal. And the principal's like, yo, what are you doing?
What really worked for me was the use of the robot here. While in the last one, it felt kind of just like we need to end the story and get off the scene, like you shouldn't belong here. This felt like there was a reversal, and it sort of changed the entire complexion of the story. Like it changed everything that had happened. Like this little listening device had been going on along. I echo your, I don't know, displeasure in saying the bureaucratic sort of state won, and these will be implemented in classrooms all across the country, or all across the district. A, I hope Steven gets a cut at that. And B, is that the solution that we want? Would it be better for Steven to have stood up for himself in person? I mean, how would that have changed the story rather than sort of outsourcing it to an omniscient robot?
Yeah. And sort of in that same vein is I wish that this robot monitoring system or the science fair or something had been alluded to a lot earlier, right? Because like if that had been the plot point rather than making him do his homework, it's like making him do his science fair project, and then all of a sudden that's what he's been building this whole time, right? Is a science fair project that's capturing the bullying. Then that would seem a little bit more coherent, or tie that full circle around, versus right now like it's just kind of introduced as like, oh yeah, by the way, there was this thing that's saving the day, this whole time, a little deus ex machina.
Yeah, it is a little
will.
deus ex machina. Nice. I think the place for it would be the graphing calculator. When they alluded to that stealing the graphing calculator, it could have been, instead of that graphing calculator, it could have been this science experiment. That would have planted the seed in the reader's mind.
Ooh, that would have been good. Well, solid story nonetheless from Fox Fantastic 45. So with that, what do? We reveal the winner.
Let's
Is it
reveal the
already-
winner. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
Boom.
I mean, oh,
We're muted. Lyd the Kid has said silence.
all right, we're back. We're going to commercials. We're going to commercial break. We've got our sponsor today is, of course, the venerated Sony Cologne. That's Baloney, a Cologne by Tony Stallone, available at every major retailer. And believe it or not, since it's following the holiday season, they're actually marked up. It's they're not having a sale. They're actually increasing prices by 500%.
Wow.
So
wow.
yeah,
Still can't keep them on the shelves.
no, it's the one thing people need all year round. All right, so here we go. We're gonna hit the end of this segment and show with a dash of cinnamon. What top 5 sentences of the day? Are you ready for this, Greg?
Let's do it.
All right. Top 5. Number 5. I'm Trey. I'm not just any car. I'm literally the coolest flying car. Oh, yeah. I'm Trey. I'm not just any car. I'm literally the coolest car ever because I can fly. Number 4. So anyway, Steve has this robot helper in his shop that carries around a backpack full of tools and snacks because fixing cars makes you hungry. Duh. Number 3. Deep in the tunnel, Emma finally revealed her secret, a grocery bag-sized container of glitter. Number 2. We screamed and decided to book it, running back along our glitter trail, tears mixing with sweat until we finally escaped. And the top sentence of the night, but plot twist, one day I decided to go full savage mode and escape. And right as I was leaving, no cap, I saw Steve rolling up with the same green paper. It was like the most epic comeback story ever.
Wow. Is that the first time you've said no cap in a sentence organically?
Yeah, basically.
All right.
That's
Kids these days.
I was looking forward to it. Had to happen sometime. Why not today? All right, our next prompt for Tuesday, December 31st. Final.
It's a story starter. It's a story starter. Already? Start your story with this line. As the large green dragon approached me.
Oh. All right. As the large green dragon approached me. So it sounds like you got a character. Sounds like you got the framework of a plot. The setting could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere. Where's this dragon?
Where is this dragon? What are they doing? What are they going to say?
Are they an enemy? Are they a friend? We don't know.
Nobody knows. All right. What's that?
You got to announce that winner.
Well, you got to announce the winner. All right, here's the winner. You got it, Greg.
I've got it. It looks like it's Bailiff 10, back to back. Bailiff 10, the car story. Steve, Percy, the free car. Incredible stories. I like the reverse Mad Libs because you can go all over. 3 very, very different stories today.
That was a wild. Great stories from all of our authors, and looking forward to seeing the next submissions come in on Tuesday. So we'll see you then. And until then, keep those pencils sharp.
And kids, don't let your
Turn on the stream tonight, short stories in the spotlight. Writers bring their best to light. The Story Central Time. Breaking down the plot, characters are fun. Twist that hit the spot, it's all you live tonight. Are you ready for some stories in a live stream glory? It's the contest of the year. Writers have no fear. Catch the suspense unfold. Feel the tales being told. Critiques fair and bold. The truth will soon be known. Dollars from far and wide. Mysteries you can't hide. Every twist takes the story right. By these rules we abide. Are you ready for some stories?